Hey my loves, welcome back to Sensational Sense, where I help you glow up from the inside out. If you're new here and you haven't yet subscribed, fix that now by hitting the bell and join the growing community of sensational ladies all over the world. Okay, my darlings, so today we are talking about the divine masculine, and I'm sharing some things that I've observed about how to spot, or should I say to sense, this type of man. So make sure you watch this video to the end to ensure that you aren't missing out on the tea. Now, I wanted to make this video because there is so much talk about toxic masculinity, which does exist, but there's not as much talk about divine masculinity that I think should be celebrated. And I also want to let you know, ladies, that divine masculine men come in all races, shapes, and sizes. In the same way that dusty masculines come in all races, shapes, and sizes. So make sure you keep that in mind throughout this video. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you pause this video and watch my video on how to increase your feminine energy because, ladies, the divine masculine is something that is felt. It's something that's sensed. It's not really something that you can intellectualize too much. So, the first step to understanding any of what I'm about to say is to be in your feminine energy, because only then will you be receptive to and be able to recognize the divine masculine in others. Okay, so one of the key signs of the divine masculine is that he is comfortable leading. Now, this does not mean that he is authoritarian or controlling. Rather, it means that when called to, he is comfortable to step up into that position of leadership. And he does so in a way that inspires other people to follow. Note here, I said inspires, not forces, not begs, not screams and shouts, but inspires. All real leaders act in such a way that they don't really have to fight too hard for the compliance or quote-unquote submission that they're seeking. So a divine masculine will be comfortable in a leadership role without being authoritarian or controlling. Now, this links quite closely to trait number 2, which is that this type of man is secure and quietly confident, which is why he doesn't have to scream and beg and shout for submission. Security is quiet. Insecurity is very loud. So insecure men are the ones who tend to have a difficult time getting the respect that they want because deep down, they don't necessarily believe that they're worthy of it, nor do they trust their leadership skills. But a divine masculine will be secure, he'll be secure in his abilities, and he'll be confident in a quiet way, which means he's not always going to be the loudest person in the room. He's not always going to be the person saying the most, but when he does speak, what he says is thought through and considered. So security is always a good sign. Another gorgeous trait about the divine masculine is that he is self-motivated and goal-oriented. This is a man who is a doer, not a talker. Divine masculines are action-oriented. When they face a problem, which is inevitable because life always brings problems, their next step is to figure out how to overcome it. And they may go quiet whilst doing so, but best believe they'll be working away to find a way around that problem, and even take joy in the process of fixing and solving that problem. He's going to be showing you some action. Another trait of the divine masculine, which I absolutely love, is that he is protective of feminine energy. Now, that doesn't mean he makes excuses for women, and that doesn't mean he tolerates nonsense, but a divine masculine will never compete with a woman. I'll say that again. A divine masculine will never compete with a woman. He does not see women as threats to him. He does not believe that a woman gaining power means that he is losing power, because he is not threatened by a powerful woman. Rather, he loves that in his woman and is protective of that energy because he knows that the world is not necessarily going to be the same towards her. So a true divine masculine will be doing his best to protect you, whether physically or emotionally, and nurture that feminine spirit within you instead of shaming you for being in your feminine and instead of shaming you for being different to him. He enjoys that polarity and is protective of his feminine queen. Now, unfortunately, because of how society is, I will say that sometimes it's a lot more common to find a wounded masculine, a toxic masculine, than it is to find a divine masculine. There are a lot of young men growing up these days that lack a positive male role model. They either don't have one, or the one that they have is wounded. And that makes it very difficult for them to see an example of healthy masculinity. A lot of them fall down the red pill rabbit hole trying to find this example, and usually these sites are created by men who have vitriol and hatred towards women, aka misogynists, and they unfortunately infiltrate the minds of young and impressionable males who are yearning for that father figure that they never had. Equally, we are growing up in a society where a lot of women are ashamed and disconnected from their feminine essence, and that in turn makes that polarity non-existent. There are a lot of women who feel that being a feminine woman means being a weak woman, or feel unable to accept help and leadership, either because of their own wounds or their own traumas, or just a lack of experience. So there's issues on both sides. But if you're watching this video, my guess is that you are one of the women who wants to manifest a healthy masculine and who looks forward to finding someone that they trust enough to surrender to. I hope you found this video helpful, my darlings, and I hope it's inspired you, if you're not already, to tap into that gorgeous femininity of yours so that you can be receptive to this energy when you sense it. Keep the faith that divine masculines are out there, and the more work you do on yourself as a feminine woman, the more you will be able to sense their presence when you are in their presence. And trust me, when you do feel it, it's going to be amazing. Make sure you watch the rest of the videos in my Grow Up Romantically playlist, and also in my Grow Up Spiritually and Mentally playlist too. Until the next one, mwah.